If you have a Garmin inReach, it could get you locked up and sent to jail. But there are other tips that I wish I knew in the beginning because they've made life with the Garmin inReach a lot easier, a lot safer, and a lot better. I've been using these for years. Here's what I wish I knew when I first got it. First, go into the settings and make sure you're including your location every time you send a message out. This works for check-ins, presets, ad hoc messages, whatever it is, but the person on the other end will be able to click on a link and see exactly where you are. Doesn't cost you any extra and obviously adds another layer of information and safety to any of your back and forth with people on the other end. Newer Garmin inReaches like the Messenger Plus allow you to record a voice message and send that over satellite. But if you don't have this functionality on your inReach, you can do a little bit of a workaround. On your phone, make sure you have enabled the voice to text functionality. This is available on Android and iPhone. And then all you have to do is send a message using your connected smartphone to your inReach, right? Like the Messenger app or the Earthmate app. When you go to send a message, click on the little voice recorder button here. Talk out your message. The phone will translate that into text, and then you can send it over the satellite as text. Much easier than typing a message out on the device or even typing it out on the phone. When you send a message on an inReach, it will include your position. So it'll get the position from the GPS chipset. And if it's having a hard time getting that position, the message sometimes can stall out and not send. I found that before I send a message, if I use navigation functionality to drop a waypoint with my inReach, that will get the latitude and longitude sort of teed up for the message. And if I send a message directly after that, that process goes a lot quicker and I don't get any stall outs if I do that waypoint trick right before I send my message. Before you go into the backcountry with your inReach, test sending your messages to your intended recipients before you leave home. The reason being, not all messages go through. Garmin has a support page and they list out some scenarios when messages might not be received, like if the recipient is a Google VoIP number, or if somebody had the Garmin Messenger app and then uninstalled it. There's a whole list of scenarios here, so if the messages aren't going through at home, check this page, and they even have a way that you can report messages that should be going through but don't go through. It happens sometimes, but you want to shake this out before you go out and need this functionality in the middle of nowhere. Sometimes when you're out in nature, it can be very loud and you can miss an incoming message maybe that has some critical information that could save your life. So I go into the settings and I enable the ring until read feature, which will keep making the inReach buzz and beep and all those fun things until I've actually read any new incoming message. Sometimes it can be tricky for other people to message you on your inReach, especially if they are not technical users. I share my Mapshare page and I put a password on it. I put that in my contact card and I share that with my friends and family. On that Mapshare page, I enable allowing them to locate me via ping and also send me a message. And that way, if anyone needs to get a hold of me and I'm out in the field, all I have to do is go to a web page. They don't have to install a Messenger app or register or any of that kind of stuff. Go to this page and they can send me a message. It's pretty easy. And then I can just reply from here. The term tracking can be confusing on inReach. There's really two types of tracking. Garmin doesn't do a good job of differentiating them. Generally, inReach units themselves, the actual hardware, will have internal tracking that keeps a breadcrumb trail of where you're going. This internal track is only on the device, and you can generally use it to do like a breadcrumb trail or a track back to the start. Now, there's also location sharing or satellite tracking. And in this case, you have an interval, usually in your settings, where you can choose how many times you want to send this position out. In this case, the tracking is taking your position, sending it over satellite to your Mapshare page where people can follow along. Generally, the tracking on the device is a little bit more high fidelity. You can sometimes change this and in the settings as well. But know that there's two types of tracking. You only pay or you only are counted towards things that go out over the satellite. So any kind of location sharing, if it's not included in your inReach plan, you might have to pay for if it's going out. If you want a tool to figure out if you're getting the best from your inReach plan, just search for HikingGuy inReach subscription cost. And I have a cost calculator for all the different plans on my website. Paying for a Garmin inReach subscription can not only save your life, it can also save somebody else's life. If you encounter somebody out in the field who needs help, you can use your inReach to call for help for them. When you contact SOS or Garmin Response, make sure you indicate that it's not for you, it's for somebody else. You can report the incident and, relay a message to that person. You could stay, you could not stay, whatever, they advise that you do. I would just follow that. The person you report it from is not going to be covered by any insurance that you might personally have, but you're not liable usually for that person's condition. It's something called the Good Samaritan law, just like you would call 911 in the front country to report somebody injured or hurt. Same thing with the Garmin inReach. So subscription might not be the funnest thing to pay for, but it could save somebody's life. If you're outside, you should leave your Garmin inReach on at all times. Even if you're not actively using it or sharing your location, it will check for messages every hour or so. If for some reason you're unconscious, you don't show up at home, you can't hit SOS, law enforcement can ask Garmin to ping the location of your device and find out where you are. And if you leave it on, you can also get emergency alerts or warnings, whether from friends or family, or maybe even from authorities. But when you're inside, it's a good idea to turn it off to save battery, because inside it can't get a satellite signal and it will burn the battery down constantly trying to find one. And oh yeah, your inReach can get you arrested overseas. Not something that Garmin obviously actively promotes, but they do have a web page where they list all of the countries where having an inReach or a satellite communicator could be a problem. Now, I thought this was a little bit odd in some of these places here, so I reached out to my friends at Overwatch and Rescue. This is an SOS subscription service like AAA for the outdoors. They're not sponsoring this, but they did help me with this part. And I wanted to talk to them about, where have they encountered any of these problems or any of these issues with all the rescues they do, because they have worldwide coverage. And, talking to them, seeing their research, I reached out to some of the governments too. I would say anywhere on this list, I would just not bring a satellite communicator, including an inReach. It's not a hardcore or a specific law in all these places, but from what I've seen from people getting arrested and stories about this, the person, whoever's searching your bag or, going through your stuff, has a lot of discretion on whether to detain you or not. And you're basically at the mercy of those people. And Overwatch and Rescue put me in touch with a customer named Dubanak, who has a YouTube channel. He's a overlander, motorcycle guy, world traveler. He was in India doing part of the Silk Road, and he was detained by the authorities for having a satellite communicator. I was able to interview him thanks to Overwatch and Rescue, and here's his story.
I am Dubanok. I am world traveler, especially on motorcycles, overlanding, and mountaineer. I travel in around 145 countries in the world. And I am rally master by Iron Boat Association. This is from US. And in my case, I have a special, but for me, it's very attractive, the Silk Road, in the Silk Road, Pakistan and India. And I come back to India for finish this part of the traveling. And in the second time, one check control, authorities in India, the police people in India stopped me and checked my device, for, in the case of the rescue, I use a spot around the world. And these people don't speak English. My English is very bad, of course. So, but these people speak in Hindi, So these people catch me and only tell me you have big problems. Why? Don't answer. And take, I don't remember
handcuffs.
Handcuffs, and take my bags, and go to like shed, this small place and sit down. And one guy start, check my passport, my documents, and see many stamps for many countries, many visas for many countries. And what do you do? I travel around the world. Okay. You have big problems. Only tell me that. And start copy the cameras, everything crazy. And these people don't, I need talk, I need make call. That does not exist. This is only in the movies,
Yeah,
only in the movies you can call and the lawyer. That's crazy.
Did
And
could I ask you, did this happen when you were entering India, or this was when you were in the northern region where it's sensitive?
when I stay in India, I already stay in India, but in one control, in one control, military control, up in that. And India is very confused, you don't know this guy is police or is military. This is very confused, and don't exist laws. This is crazy. And okay, that go to this shit place, and many people detained in this place. People detained for steal a small piece of bread, And look at me, this guy. What did you do here, And for 8 hours, these people only talking in Hindi, your language. And after 8 hours, this guy tell me, you have the problem. You go to the jail, minimum 6 months to 3 years. So, why? You have the big problem. Only this reply, And that night, and on all day, I don't have water, food, anything. After that, I can call to my embassy. I talking with the embassy and explain all my situation. And the embassy people speak Hindi and English. He tell me, you have a problem for the satellite device, In India exists a very old law for the British Empire, 18th century. Don't permit any system of communication. It's not from India.
And it wasn't until you spoke with the embassy that you knew it was the satellite communicator? That was when you found out?
Yeah, but I have, in the motorbike. Yeah. Always I have the spot at the motorbike.
That was when you first realized what was happening. Before that, people didn't speak English, and you didn't know what was the problem, right? That was
yeah. Then after that, this guy tell me, please pass the phone to the commissary. And these people scream, talking, screaming, It's crazy. Scream for 45 minutes. And after that, the commissary say me, other 2 hours silence, and continue, more papers with my passport. And after that, this guy tell me, you can go to the hotel, but your passport is, I retain your passport, and the military go with you. When I go to the hotel, in that moment, I can recover my cell phone, and send messages to Overwatch. And that moment, the only option for help me is Overwatch. Yeah. I send by WhatsApp, and immediately this guy replied me and contacted me with one lawyer from Los Angeles. Arthur, this guy speaks Spanish and speaks English very well, and know very well Mexico and other countries in Latin America. And I explained all the situation, and he gave me many recommendations, and he tell me, we have office in Delhi. Don't worry. Tomorrow you need to return to the jail. You need to return, and you go to the court. If you have the decision of the judgment, the honor, sent to the jail, we start the action plan,
Yeah.
And when I talking with this guy, I had very calm, my feeling was very safe.
Yeah.
I thinking, okay, it happened, I have the support with Overwatch, and this guy all the time send me by WhatsApp, everything okay, yes. And in the next 2 days, I go to the court, 6 hours, waiting, 300 people in India. The court is not like movies. One guy, one judgment, yes.
Yeah.
No. 300 people. Just continue waiting. And after that, we go to the and the lawyer tell me, you only tell I don't speak English. I don't understand. I don't understand it. Everything in Hindi. Nothing on English. And after 4 days, the result in the court was I paid $500 for that situation, and you can go ahead. But the commissary retained my passport. Again, I talking with Overwatch with this guy. I don't speak the name for safety,
Yeah.
Confidential information. But the guy told me, don't worry. These people speak with the commissary and return my passport. But the Overwatch was crazy, 24 hours. The people many attention to me. You are okay? When you are now? Exactly location, everything, the hotel name, everything. Always with me. Always with me. And, the price is very cheap, honestly. The price is ridiculous, when I'm talking with my friends, how much? It's ridiculous, the price, for support around the world. That's crazy, Because I think so, not necessarily adventure traveler like me or you, but I think so everybody needs, the spot and this support from Overwatch, in US, Canada, Alaska. Alaska I visit many times. But it's necessary. You have support 24 hours for 7 days. I think so this is important. When I traveling with my family, I catch my device with the spot and always. In Europe, normally I'm sailing with my family. Always I have my spot device. Always. With my wife and kids. We go to camp in US many times in the year. I love all overland. But always I have my spot device and location with Overwatch.
Thanks to Dubanok and Overwatch and Rescue for helping me out on that. I thought that was very interesting and helpful. Hopefully it doesn't happen to you. Now, if you have a tip that you know now that you wish you knew when you first got your satellite communicator like your inReach, leave it in the comments. I'm sure it will help out others. Hopefully this video was helpful. Stay safe, guys, and I will see you out on the trails.